I'm making this video because there's literally no information on the internet or anywhere else that I can find that addresses the issue of poor sound quality in video production for everything from people that TIG weld to construction, etc., etc. We have obviously the Hollywood studios. They've spent millions of dollars on systems to maximize the quality of sound and that sort of thing. And of course they have the equipment to go with it. But I have a stereo system in my living room that is about $100,000 stereo system. And one of the things you learn is that the source is always the most important aspect of your system. So if you're playing a CD, for instance, it's the CD player is the number one most important thing to get the quality right. Prior to that, it would be the recording studio. And then down the line, each thing makes a difference because you cannot improve upon whatever the source is. So my point here is I'm taking an incredibly expensive DPA microphone 4060 and I'm going to hack it to pieces, and it very well could end up as a piece of junk that you would throw in the garbage if you don't solder it correctly, etc., etc. But I am, as well as everyone, kind of miffed that you have incredibly good quality systems that you can do, but the problem is like the Rode wireless system that I have. I mean, it set me back about $300, which is cheap when you consider the cost of things in the industry. But the thing is the DAC, digital to audio converter, is obviously inexpensive, but it doesn't matter because you could spend $10,000 on a DAC, but you're only listening through to me in monotone, and the most important thing is to get the sound quality correctly. And a DAC is in the Rode recorders and stuff like that, even though it may only cost them $10, $15 to produce, you would have to spend exponentially more to get incrementally better quality. And that's the way it is in everything in this world. But so you could use the Rode microphone that comes with it, or you could pay $60, $70 for a Rode microphone that has a 3.5 millimeter plug-in. And this is a microdot, and they say you can plug in another one, and the microdots are like $100 or more each. But every time you introduce another connection in the line, you introduce interference and stuff like that. And so it doesn't matter how expensive it is. It's never, ever going to be as good as a direct wire to the 3.5 millimeter connector. It doesn't matter what you do. The best way to do is solder it right to that. Now, what I've learned over the years, because I've been playing with this, is all these microphones are mono, meaning there's only one wire in here that directs the sound to, and you have to split it into stereo, or otherwise it sounds stupid on your playback. And so you have to bridge the one wire between the two leads here. You have to bridge it between the two leads, and then your ground wire that surrounds the whole unit is connected to this final connector right here. That's the one thing that is confusing to most people. They don't realize that the one lead, the hot lead, call it whatever you want, is going between these two leads right here that are the first two sections of your 3.5. So I'm gonna go ahead and show you. I mean, this is a brand new microphone. I picked it up on eBay, and these things sell for like, shoot, $550, $600. I picked it up for like $350 on eBay, but you can tell it's brand spanking new, never used. And to take my cutters here and I'm just gonna, there, I just cut the end off, and it's like, normally you would think, boy, that guy just ruined a $500-$600 microphone. Well, that's true if you don't know how to solder it correctly. And I've got a guy down the street that is like a mastermind genius when it comes to electrical stuff, and he's kind of helped me through the first one I ever did. And the sound you're listening to right now through this microphone, maybe you guys recognize what it is. God, I can't think of it right now, but it's a real high quality microphone. But I wanted to try to do a little better. And so I was going to try this DPA microphone. But I have to use 8 power glasses and everything else because this is like microscopic. It's so small. And I've actually, the first time I did this, I screwed up the soldering and I had to take it apart and redo it, et cetera, et cetera. Now, when I do these, in the end, after I get them soldered correctly, I use Teflon tape, the same kind of Teflon tape that plumbers use. I use it and very intricately wrap that as tight as I possibly can. And then I actually use 5-minute epoxy, and I dip it on there and turn it so that it covers it, because you want to eliminate all RF interference that could come through this microphone, because as I said, the source is the most important aspect of sound quality in any system. It doesn't matter what it is. The source is always the most important, and then they get through the line. If you continue that quality, you can end up with a pretty good sounding system. But the source is always the most important, and so the source is the microphone. This thing is the source, and then it's quality all the way through here, and then this is quality right here. And then this sits in, hooks into my Rode microphone system. And the Rode is, I mean, it's really simple. It's just recording digital sound. That's all it's doing. It's converting it to digital sound. It goes into my camera. My camera goes into my computer. My computer, with my programs, you send it out over the internet. But as I said, it all starts with that right there. The microphone is the most important part. And if you're using mediocre microphones, which appear to be quality, I mean, everybody says, oh, well, if you pay $60, $70, you got a really good microphone. But it isn't true. And no matter what they say, it just isn't true. Otherwise, Hollywood would not be using DPA microphones in their movie making industry. They would be using $60 microphones, but they don't. Nobody does, because they understand the aspect of quality sound, which I didn't when I first started. But anyways, okay, I've got these outer wires all wired together. Now the next step is to eliminate these fiberglass wires so that they're not in my way, and then the next step is to get to that center wire, and I'm sure there must be some sort of an insulator covering that, and I'll have to clip those off. But yeah, let's see, I don't want to mess these things up. Okay, so, and this, like I say, I'm using 8 powered or 8.0 reading glasses, and my eyesight is already not perfect, so I do have to get a magnification of at least 1.2 or whatever. And you can see I'm using some pretty damn high quality wire cutters to do this work. But I find it fun. The whole damn thing is fun. Otherwise I wouldn't be doing it. I'm not doing it to make money. I'm just doing it because I enjoy doing this sort of thing. And nobody else, well, not very many people do this, and those that do probably don't make videos to show you how to do it. But my soldering iron, I had to get a soldering station for starters. A nice little one. They're like only, I don't know, $70-$80 or whatever, and it's not the best. I mean, it serves my purpose, but Heiko or whatever is what my neighbor down the street has, and it's a little better than the one I have, but so what? This serves its purpose. Now, from what I can tell, this wire here, you would look at it and think that because it's silver, that it is the wire itself, but I'm pretty damn certain that that's just a foil covering, again, to eliminate RF. It looks like you just solder that to it, but I'm quite certain that that's just a foil covering. But I can't even tell with my 8-powered glasses on. I'm going to have to get my either a microscope or this other magnifier to see for sure what the hell I've got there. Okay, so I can tell that there is, it looks like a clear insulator of sorts. I would guess it's Teflon because that's like the holy grail of RF insulation. But yeah, I'm gonna tear back shoot, I don't know, 1/4 of an inch or so, and see if I can access the wire inside. Which, like I said, if I screw up, I'll just cut her back and try again. That's the way to do it. You just keep trying. The most important thing is that you solder it correctly. You got one chance at soldering it correctly, and if that doesn't work, you almost have to throw the damned fitting away, because, I mean, you can desolder it, but yeah, I hate to throw away a $25 fitting, so basically do it. So my first attempt, I'm going to use my side cutters here and try it. I could use my pocket knife, but I'm going to try this just to see if I can get it correctly without destroying the wires. Yay! I can't believe I got it right. And from what I can tell, I did not cut any of the interior wires. But yeah, it's a clear jacket over the top of those wires. And I might have cut off enough. We'll see what happens. Yeah. Yes. Oh yeah. That worked. Oh yeah, that worked absolutely perfect. The next step is to twist these and then try to solder it. Let's see how that goes. I don't know. I'm always reluctant to solder anything without soldering paste on the wire. And I know you can't see what I'm doing, but I'm just basically dipping a little bit of soldering paste on the wires, but it says on the solder that it's fluxed, and and that it's good. I have found that it doesn't. I don't know. I'm not a, I forgot to tell you in the beginning, I'm not a professional at this. I am a hack master at best. I just do this because I enjoy doing it, and I think that it's satisfactory, or it gives you satisfactory to complete a project that isn't easy to do. Anyways. Oh yeah, baby, perfect. Now I am going to I'm going to turn my soldering iron off and inspect it. The soldering job, well, looks perfect to me. It slightly melted the plastic right there because I might have held the soldering iron on it too long. But I don't care. It's still perfect. Everything. I just have to get it to bridge now to that other one, and I might be able to alligator clip it this direction, or I just hold it down with my fingers so that I don't get any RF interference bridging between the ground or anywhere else. And that's a very tedious job, but 90% of what has to be done is done. I mean, that is the most critical part of, and the reason you bridge it, I'm reiterating here, is I'm using a mono microphone, putting it into a stereo jack. And the reason I'm doing that is because everything people listen to is stereo in your YouTube videos and stuff like that. And this is set up for stereo. Well, of course, I suppose I could wire two microphones. One microphone has a wire going to that, another wire goes to that, and then you could put two microphones on your lapel or something. But I think that's a waste, in my opinion. Damn, I'm happy with that. I'm going to take a picture of that with my camera, and so you can see how, God, I'm happy with that. Wow, that is awesome. Anyway, okay, the next step is to attach this wire right here, which is a non-conducting wire. It's a ground wire, essentially, is what it is. And that will attach to this piece here, and I'll solder it to it. But I want to Teflon tape that first. I want to Teflon tape this area here around and around a few times. And then after I get done Teflon taping it, I will solder this wire right here to this rod right here. And then after I get that soldered, the next step is to wrap this around to tighten it. And then I will, this whole area here, I will cover with epoxy. And and it'll fill the whole area in here, and that will also reduce RF interference that comes through the air. That's the thing that creates the most interference in any sound system like this that you're dealing with such high quality. It's the RF interference, and that's why this wire here has a little clear, probably Teflon coating, is to insulate that from RF interference, and then this wire here picks up the other. Again, I'm not an electrician, electronics, or anything like that. This is just stuff I've picked up over the years playing with this sort of stuff. So that's what I'm going to do next. It's very intricate and hard to do, but it's fun. Okay. I hesitate to even show this phase because my fingers are not the skinniest in the world, and it's not the easiest thing in the world to do for me. Again, I'm wearing 8 power reading glasses to see what the heck I'm doing. The only reason I'm doing this also is in stereo equipment, wiring, for instance, your what do they call it, interconnects and stuff like that. I have on my stereo system, I have Nordost, Valhalla, I think it's called, and incredibly expensive. And I cannot imagine that, what they must go through to produce a stereo interconnect, that they're charging you, $4,000 or $5,000 for a couple connections that are like 3 foot long. Well, they're doing something way better than what I'm doing here. Well, I won't say better, but they have to do this kind of stuff if you want that kind of quality. Why would you spend, well, it's not how much you spend, it's what do you want out of the end product. What is it you're looking for? And if you're looking for the sound quality, well, that's the only reason you'd spend this kind of money. And so why would you do anything less than the absolute best humanly possible that you can do? Otherwise, don't spend the money. I mean, install an inexpensive microphone, and who cares? But if you're a perfectionist, like I am, then you would do what I'm doing. I don't know what you'd have to spend to do this, but I mean, I'm not spending hundreds of dollars on their microdot systems, and I don't have to do any more than that. That is more than sufficient. Teflon insulation. That is beautiful. Well, I don't know if it's beautiful, but it's certainly going to do a damn good job of insulating any RF that might come through here. My next step is to solder this to that, do the same thing, and yeah. And then, all right, my next step is to solder that ground wire to that sleeve, and let's see how that goes. I don't want to get okay, I think that's good. Let me look at it. Yeah, I'm satisfied with that. Okay, so what I did is I soldered that to the ground sleeve, and my next step is to, theoretically, I should test it right now to see if it works. That would be the next step before I put it all together. So that's what I'll do. Testing, 1, 2, 3. So if it's picking up interference, it's because I haven't finished the final insulating and stuff like that. But I noticed on my Rode wireless system, I kicked it up from the lowest setting of volume to the highest setting of volume because I noticed this particular microphone must require a few more milliwatts above the other microphone I was using. But maybe that'll change when I insulate it. Who knows? But it seems to be working on both channels. So that's a good thing. All right. Now I'm back to the other microphone I was using. And again, yeah, this the step up or step down, I have 3 different, you could just call it volume levels, but what it does is it just sends a little more microvolts to the microphone. And so mine is now on the lowest setting again for the microphone I'm using right now, which, damn, I can't remember the name. It's a good high quality microphone also. And I did the same thing that I did to this one. So the next step is, I think the best thing to do is close it up and throw a little epoxy around it. And yeah, and then put the covering over it and see how that works. All right, this is my setup in my shop, and that's the 5-minute epoxy that I'm going to mix up and on that piece of little plywood there, and then I'll apply it in the thing on the unit. But yeah, this is my shop, and I'm very lucky to have. It's my woodworking shop. I have metalworking. That's my it's a milling machine. As I said, I'm an artist. I got welders down there, TIG welder, MIG welder, metal cutting saws, blah, 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 blah. That over there is a metal bending machine I invented and built. I know it looks funky, but I mean, it really works awesome. That right there is an air valve that directs an air motor. So I just plug it into my air system, and I can bend tubes, square or round. Depends on what fittings I put on it. So anyways, I'll get back to the epoxying, show you what I'm doing there next. And then I'll be done. Alrighty then, last step, and that is to get this thing epoxied. I hope the camera, I'm trying to hold this thing in the view of the camera, and I'm only hoping that I've got it correctly, because I can't see. I'm just hoping I have it in the same spot. If not, well, oh well. So yeah, this is a welding rod that I have here. When I say it's a TIG welding rod, I'm holding this on the wrong side. Yeah, that's better, much better. So yeah. And the epoxy will hold the wire super tight so that it doesn't pull through, and it also offers a level of RF interference possibilities by insulating it even more. Plus, it will hold the Teflon tape in place. Again, if you're not going to do this type of quality, then don't even bother. I mean, obviously, what you're wanting to accomplish in life isn't this sort of thing. You're only watching this as if it's something that's interesting, and that you like doing this sort of thing, and you like doing high quality stuff. And if that's your case, then great. This should be right up your alley. And this will give you, I mean, the coolest part about this is you can mimic pretty damn closely, the $1 million systems that they use in Hollywood, in the movie industry. Again, I hope I'm holding my wire in the right spot that you can see it. And I'm spinning it because it's 5-minute epoxy, and I don't want it to drag down on one end only. and get a blob where I don't want it. And when I'm all done and I get the covering over it, in addition, I will shrink wrap a piece of shrink wrap over it, like 3-to-1 heat shrink type product. And of course, the reason I'll do that is just because, I don't know, makes it look a little more professional. And I don't like the ends. You know, you got such an incredibly thin wire here, and it looks silly to, you know, go into an end that's 1/4 inch open, you know what I mean? Anyways, I'm liking that so far. Yeah, I'm really liking that a lot. I don't know if you can see it. I hope I'm holding my it correctly, but the epoxy has seeped through absolutely everything, and again, that makes it just incredibly strong. Like, you can't pull the wire out, and it offers, like I said, the final insulation from RF or anything else. Okay, the last and final step is to heat shrink this. This is as far as I could get this one on, because it was just very, I think it's a 3-to-1 shrink ratio. So hopefully between this one that slid over there and this one here, hopefully it'll shrink down enough to make it look nice. That's what I'm hoping for. We'll see what happens. And it has glue in the fitting. That melts. And that's more than sufficient. And I could try to get another piece over the top of that one, a little piece, but that might be good enough. It looks a little funky, but yeah. I might just put another little one right here to see if that makes it look any better. But I got to cool this off first. Going to be incredibly durable, and that's what's most important. I don't want the wires to come loose in here in any way, shape, or form. And I think I've done that. That's pretty good. Let it cool off, and I'm going to plug it in, and the next thing you hear will be coming through this particular microphone, and it is the final thing. We'll see how that works. All right, this is the final product, and as I said, I had to kick the volume up on the Rode device to its most powerful setting, so the highest voltage setting it'll go, to get this level of sound through it. Because every microphone is a little bit different, but obviously it works. I mean, I'll see what the sound is like when the playback is, but I am functioning through the DPA 4060 microphone, and let's hope it's good. I'll find out in about half an hour after I download all this stuff and play it back on my computer. Thank you very much for watching. And as you can tell, I mean, it's intricate, but I mean, if anybody has a modicum of soldering experience and some powerful reading glasses and such, you could do that. It's not that difficult. Thank you for watching. Bye.